Why are you still doing this to yourself? Why are you sacrificing, compromising to no avail? You are still sacrificing and compromising with no end in sight. See, when people show you who they are, believe them. Do not think you can change someone who is not willing to change. People will only change when they are ready to change. You can't change them.
She's a lady TJ.
Hello my darlings, welcome to my channel. I am your lady TGA. I get asked this question all the time. I call it the why question. Why is he or she not loving me the way I ought to be loved? Why is she or he not loving me the way I ought to be loved? Why is she or he not putting as much effort into the relationship as much as I have been doing? Why is it that he or she is always too busy for me? Or why is it that he or she is finding it difficult to create enough time for me? Perhaps the worst why questions I get asked all the time is, why is it that he or she is always disrespecting me? And the other one is that, why is it that he or she is not emotionally available to love me? And the other one is that, why is it that he or she seem not to be emotionally available to love me? My darling, you know all this and you still want to get married to them? Do you really think that marriage is going to change all that? Do you really think that marriage is going to change all that? Or that marriage is going to somehow change them? Or do you think that marriage is somehow a magic wand that's going to change a person's behavior overnight? See, I understand if they hide who they are and you fall for what they present. But that's not the case here. In this case, this person is showing you who they really are, and you are still ready to walk down the aisle knowing who they are. They are not even making an effort to disguise who they are. They are showing you exactly who they are. And you're hoping that somehow walking down the aisle will make them change. Why are you still doing this to yourself? Why are you sacrificing, compromising to no avail? You are still sacrificing and compromising with no end in sight. See, when people show you who they are, believe them. Do not think you can change someone who is not willing to change. People will only change when they are ready to change. You can't change them. You already know there is a big vacuum that has not been filled, that they are not willing to fill, and yet you still want to walk down the aisle. To what end? To be able to answer Mr. Married or Mrs. Married. They are showing you who they are. My darling, it is time to face the truth and ask yourself the truth. Instead of asking why them, questioning their behavior, why don't you ask yourself why you? Why don't you ask yourself why you are ready to accept something that is obviously below your standards? Why don't you ask yourself why you are ready to accept a relationship that is obviously below your standards, below your expectations? Your expectations are valid. For if you are in a relationship, you expect that they create time for you, you expect that they respect you, you expect that they are emotionally available, because that's why it is a relationship in the first place, right? Why, for everything that is good, are you in a relationship with someone who is not emotionally available, someone who cannot connect with you emotionally? Why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you with someone who is not loving you the way you should be loved? Someone who is not capable of loving you the way you should be loved and is not even trying. Why are you in that kind of relationship? What are you still doing there? Make me understand in the comment section. Why are you still with someone who does not understand you, who is not making the effort to understand you, who is clearly not ready to be in a relationship with you? Why are you still with such a person? Why are you still with them? Why are you still with them? Is it that the idea of a relationship excites you? You are still not satisfied. You know there is a vacuum. How are you going to fill that vacuum? Yet you are still ready to walk down the aisle with them. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you still compromising and sacrificing to no end in sight? See, when people show you who they are, you better believe them. It's time to understand that no matter how good you are, if someone is not willing to change, nothing will make them change. They have to take that decision themselves and change. If someone is ready for a relationship with you, they will do all they can to make that relationship work and not give you the bare minimum. You are getting crumbs from that relationship and you still want to take it to the next level. There will always be a vacuum, and you always ask the why question. And you always ask the why question. Why them? Why are they treating you this way? Why are they not reciprocating? But it is time to ask yourself, why are you tolerating what you know is not giving you peace of mind to the extent that you are ready to walk down the aisle? Who's going to fill that vacuum? Except you want to spend the rest of your life complaining about them and looking for a way to fill that vacuum, because that why question will always be there. Except they are ready to be in a relationship with you and put in as much work, or at least make the effort to put in some work, just as you are doing. You can't change anyone who is not willing to change. You are getting broken, waiting for the relationship to get healthy and functional. Now take a look at yourself with all the love that you have inside of you, with all the love that you are giving, with all the love that you are ready to give. You are there getting hurt. You are there getting hurt, getting broken, waiting for the relationship to be functional, waiting for the relationship to be healthy. And it's not happening. Let me tell you something for free. Marriage is not a cure. Marriage is not going to make that person change for the better. Imagine they are supposed to be impressing you now in this relationship and they are giving you the bare minimum. Do you think they are going to stay devoted in marriage? I say it again for those at the back, that marriage is not a cure. Understand this, my darling. You deserve better, you deserve more. Place a premium on yourself and raise your standards. See, work more on yourself, trust God, and you won't even be able to count your blessings. See, now your needs are not being met, but you are sacrificing, you're tolerating, you're compromising, and you know what? What you tolerate in your relationship, it's not going to end in marriage. Marriage is not going to suddenly end it or change that person. You will only be taken for granted. If you don't raise the standards now, you're only going to be taken for granted. They are not going to stop because they know you will always tolerate it. Because they know you always tolerate it, you always compromise. Yes, marriage is not going to make them change if they are not willing to change in the relationship. After walking down the aisle, then what happens? You have the ring on your finger, or you are now a Mr. Married Man. After then, what happens? You think your partner will automatically change? Then you only have yourself to blame. So instead of asking why them, ask why you. Why? Why are you taking this? Why are you tolerating this? Why are you willing to compromise now? Will you always be willing to compromise? Only you can answer those questions. But I tell you, marriage is not a magic cure for a bad behavior. People only change when you give them reason to change and when they are willing to change. And when they know it's not going to be business as usual. Stop hurting yourself. Think of your mental health. Don't let yourself be traumatized waiting for someone to do right by you. Believe me, they know exactly what they are doing and what they should do if they want to change, if they want to have that relationship with you. Marriage is not a cure for bad behavior. Neither is a long-term relationship a cure for bad behavior. And if no one else ever told you, I'm telling you now, raise your standards because you deserve better. It will be fatal if you open your eyes and walk into boiling water. Then you have no one to blame but yourself. Raise your standards, and no matter what happens, as always, I wish you the very best that this life has to offer.